10 things American people do that Europeans would never do. It's going to be interesting to see if I do these or don't do these and you guys do or don't do them. Before we do get into this, I appreciate if you guys can hit that subscribe button. Let's straight to see what we got.
The very first thing that Europe will never adopt that has been a thing for a really long time in America is the traditional stag and hen party happening the night before the wedding.
Oh, night before?
I know not every American person does this.
Oh, wait, what?
Generalization thing. It's a really terrible idea to have your stag or hen party the night before.
Yo!
Notoriously. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys.
Wait, how many of you guys have had a stag or hen before someone's wedding or your own? Bro, is that dangerous? Bro, that sounds dangerous. Bro, how do you make it to the wedding?
At a bachelorette party, it sounds much more sophisticated.
To sophistication.
Yo, I never knew that was a thing.
Traditionally, stag and hen parties in Europe result in, well, there's no nice way to put this, getting the groom or bride absolutely wasted off their bean.
Yes.
She said bean, yes she did. The last thing you want on your wedding day is a mega hangover.
Yo.
That is a recipe for disaster.
Alright, so people have stags and hens all the time in the UK, but it's like many months before the wedding, right? Or even a month before, right? A night before? Bro, that does sound like a good idea to me. Like, if I was to do that, I don't think I would make it to the wedding.
Also, as brides and grooms tend to get married older in Europe versus America, well, you know, you can't take your liquor quite as well when you get older, so it's just never gonna happen.
Oh,
We're
man.
never gonna do it the day
Yeah, I
before.
can't
It's
see
just
that happening.
A terrible idea. The next thing that I don't think Europeans will ever
Yo, I'm really curious, though, to hear some of your stories about that, because you guys must have some fun. Like, if you do that, you guys must have some crazy stories, bro.
from America is how some American people have their children move out at 18. Now, I'm not saying some European families don't
moved
do
out
this,
around
they
18.
do, but they're not as common as families who just keep their kids around a lot.
Okay.
A long, long time. People live in their family home into...
I don't know. I think that depends on the person and the family, because like, in the UK, a lot of people go to uni at 18, and technically you're kind of moving out because you're going to the halls there, the accommodation there.
Their 30s these days. I think a huge part of the reason this happens more so in Europe than in the States comes down to the fact that people travel in America for university. So they'll travel out of state to a completely different state, and they get to live on campus. You can live on campus in European universities, but most people don't. Also, family is a...
Wait, yeah, we do? Wait, I think she's wrong about that. In the UK, I went to uni, and thousands of people was living on campus.
Huge thing in Europe. I'll be coming back around to this later in the list. American people love their families, but it's not uncommon for some families to go and just see each other at Christmas or Thanksgiving. Whereas a lot of bigger European families will try to get together once a week, once a month. And this comes down to the fact that most people in Europe live in much smaller proximity.
Yo, that is true, because when I talk to you guys on my stream on Twitch, you guys will tell me that, like, you're traveling 4 hours to see your family or whatnot, right? I think people forget how big America is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, in the UK, we're all close together, so, like, we can see our families a lot. You know what I mean? In America, you probably live close to your family, you probably don't. And if you don't, you probably live a good few hours away.
Closer proximity. Grammar is your friend, I add. The next thing that is just impractical for Europe to adopt from America is whopper cars. I freaking love some of the cars that you guys have. Like, their wheels are as big as a house. But if you've ever traveled somewhere like Ireland, you know the streets are bockety and tiny. Narrow little streets. Can they even be called roads?
You won't fit it.
I think in my life in Europe, I've seen one, maybe two of those humongous cars in Europe. But they are never going to be widely adopted because they're just not practical.
Bro, I don't think you guys actually realize, unless you've been to the UK, how small and narrow the roads are. Like, bro, there's some roads, there's many roads around me right now where I have to drive down and you can only fit one car. And if another car comes, we have small cars. And if another car comes, you kind of have to, like, pull into the hedge. to let it pass.
American roads are
So
very
bad.
well structured. You can have 10 lanes of traffic. It's not uncommon.
Mental.
Whereas a lot of places in Europe have just much smaller infrastructure.
Right.
There's a lot of just makeshift roads and things. We, of course, have motorways and dual carriageways.
Right, yeah.
But if you're going anywhere outside of a town or city in a lot of countries,
Some crazy
you're gonna find
roads.
yourself on a dirt road. And while
You definitely can't fit big cars down our roads. 100% can't.
those cars sound fantastic, they just might not fit. Next up is European businesses allowing you to use their bathroom facilities. This
Okay.
is a big thing I noticed when traveling in the States.
Wait.
You guys have recently started to get public restrooms. These are just like restrooms that are just willy-nilly all over the place and you can just use them.
Right.
A lot of times in Europe you will have to pay a certain amount of money to use the restroom, like a nominal amount, like 20 cents or 20 pence.
I'm confused because I've been to quite a few different European countries, right? And I've never once paid for the bathroom, the restroom. Like I know it is a thing in some places, and even in the UK, there's a couple places where you have to pay, but it's very rare. Like very, very, very rare. I think in my whole entire life, I've had to pay for the bathroom twice, bro. So yeah, it's very, very, very rare. But they are bathrooms where, you know, it's private, like a private company, and they charge you for it. But it's very, very, very rare, bro.
Depending where you are.
And both of those times in the UK.
I've noticed a lot of businesses will allow you to just go in and use their restroom. They
Yes,
don't
so
even
they should.
ask why you're walking into their establishment, like a restaurant or a pub.
Pay
More
to
so
pee
in
and
Europe,
poo.
you'll see signs saying toilets are for customer use only. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in the States. It's just way easier to just walk into an establishment
Right.
and use their bathroom. So I think you guys are going to go more the way of Europe in that respect. I think you'll get more publicly accessible restrooms and less times people can just walk in off the street and use your bathroom. The next
Wait. So you think America's gonna adapt the European like pay? Where you gotta pay to use it? Nah. Nah, too many complaints, bro.
thing Europeans will never do is a pledge of allegiance.
Oh, yeah.
I know a lot of Europeans talk about how this is kind of a strange thing. I actually find it kind of nice in a way that schools still do this in the USA. A lot of Irish schools, you'll find yourself saying a prayer even.
Wait, she says some schools. When I seen it in another video, it was saying all schools. So I was like to believe everywhere in America does the Pledge of Allegiance. And the crazy thing to me is like people are forced to do it. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't know too much on it. You guys let me know what you feel about it. Or how you feel about it.
In the morning or before your lunch or your baby break. Do other countries call it baby break? The one before lunch? You know, you have the little morning break.
No, let's call it break.
The last time a country in Europe said a Pledge of Allegiance was during the Reich. So it's just not going to happen. I don't think it's something we're going to do. I just don't see it happening. The next
that's not
thing
gonna happen.
I do not see happening in Europe very much is supersizing. Now, supersizing had its moment. It ended in 2004 in the States.
We
But
might
you guys
adopt
still have
it.
really, really big food.
You never
courses.
know.
Your courses are really big. You'll get a lot.
Hey, people are getting big in the UK. Like, I'm pretty sure our obesity levels are like catching up to America. Like, we're nearly level, you know what I'm saying? We might even overtook it, I don't know. But yo, hey, for bigger people, you need bigger food. So you might need supersizing, bro.
A lot of food and then you'll take it away home. And even though doggy bags are becoming a thing in Europe more commonly, I still think the tendency in Europe is to keep things small. And there are a couple of reasons for this. A lot of countries in Europe pride themselves on their fine cuisine and delicacies, and these are said to come in small amounts. So a restaurant who is piling your food on top of your plate, the food won't be looked at as good quality. Also, the attitude to weight is different here. There is a lot of legislation in European countries to prevent an obesity epidemic, as we have seen.
So why is it so high?
Things include supermarket tills not having junk food beside them, and smaller portions in fast food restaurants.
Hey, but we don't do that in the UK, bro. Whatever till I go to in the supermarket, there's chocolate and crisp and sweets everywhere, dude.
Not every country has the same laws, but they do tend to be rolled out with the same idea in mind.
Interesting.
The next thing I do not see happening in European countries is fraternities and sororities. Even though they look
we don't see that.
Actually, they also kind of look like a bit like crazy to us, especially.
Yo, I've always said, I said it to my sister as well because she's going off to uni this year. And I said to her, are you sure you don't want to go to America? Because the uni life there would be so fun, dude. Uni is in university, right? Like the frats and the sororities, bro, like on the movie, they look so much fun, man.
Things I see on TikTok where all the girls are dressed the same and look the same, but I also look fun. I'm very torn. They seem a little exclusionary as well. Not saying we don't have that in Europe, we do, let me explain.
Right.
So again, this one comes back to living on campus. Most Europeans don't live on campus in their universities.
No! Bro, what? I don't know where she's getting this from. So many people live on campus.
More so than having a fraternity or sorority, we're encouraged to join clubs.
She probably just means less so than America, because America's a bigger place, so you're probably like, everyone has to live on campus, because America's so big, you know what I mean? It's probably far away. But yo, in the UK, like a lot, yeah, like people will live at home still, but so many people move away.
In like 3 different clubs in my university. I was actually chairperson of 2. Yes, your girl is hella bossy. I'm not bossy as much anymore. I actually don't like to be in charge. That's a lot of responsibility and very little thanks. Joining an academic club does not go toward your academic credits in most European universities. However, it's usually something you can put on your CV. And when you're stepping out of university, trying to get in somewhere as a, what's it called? Trainee type person? Those clubs can be really, really good. The next thing, this is not...
I don't know about universities anymore, dude. I know. Bro, I went to university. I know so many people that went to university, and so many of them for a good few years after university was jobless. And I would be surprised if they actually got a job now to do with their uni course. So why did we go to university? I don't know. We're just in debt now.
Not going to surprise anyone. It's the legal drinking age. We will never higher our drinking age to 21.
Well, you never know.
I know, and you guys know, that most Americans don't actually start drinking at 21.
Right.
But it is a lot harder for you guys to get alcohol under the age of 21. Most countries in Europe, the legal drinking age is 18.
Yep.
However, there is a big allowance for if you're with your family or at a dinner
that
or
you can do it at
in a
16.
restaurant. So if you're eating a meal, you can have a certain amount of alcohol.
Oh.
Some countries, as I said, you have to be with a parent or guardian. But there's also the fact...
Wait. In some European countries, I thought you were going to say, like, you could drink at 16 if you're with family. Some European countries, there's allowance you can have if you're 18.
That in a lot of countries, alcohol is part of the culture. Ireland definitely has a drinking culture.
Yeah.
For example, a lot of people will have their first pint at a funeral when they're a teenager. Well, that's what their parents think. They've probably had a nagging out in the field before that. But in France and Italy, children may have a little half a glass of wine with water with their dinner. It's all just part of the culture. So 21 is never going to fly in Europe. The next thing we're never going to get in Europe is the really, really high water levels that you guys have in your toilet.
Wait, what?
I mean, they're really... You know, when you... Sometimes you're... Okay, I'm going to get graphic.
Wait, yeah, I've heard of this before. How high is the water level? Like, if I sit on the toilet, is my, you know, my, how do I not get demonetized on YouTube? Is my, penis gonna be taking a swim? Is it?
You can be still sitting sometimes when you flush, and then it's just not pleasant. Also, there's the whole wasting water thing. I don't really know how plumbing works, but we're happy with our water levels at like a tiny bit of water. And yeah, there's a whole splashing problem.
Oh, splash is horrible.
Let's move on from this one quickly.
Splash is horrible. When I go toilet, right, and I'm sitting on the toilet, I always have to put, this is my routine. I get some toilet paper, I wipe the seat, and then I throw it in the toilet. I don't know, does anyone else have that routine? And then you don't have no splash. You know what I'm saying? You do everything on the toilet paper.
We're just never gonna do it.
But actually, you guys probably don't do that in America, since like you can't, if your water levels are high, then you need a lot of toilet paper, so you probably don't do that.
Number 1. Oh my gosh, this is such a big difference. Actually, before I do the big difference, do subscribe if you like me.
Her link will be in the description.
We do a lot of different things. Somebody recently said I was their most favorite variety channel in comments. Yes, I am in comments in the first hour club. when I post a
First
video,
Hour Club?
I am in comments, looking at all the comments, reading them. So subscribe, turn
Hey,
on the bell,
I'm gonna start
like
doing that.
the video, roll your
Hey,
knuckle up
we're gonna, hey, don't take my word for it, but we're gonna try and do a First Hour Club, dude.
along the keyboard to leave a comment, because that's the algorithm. I have an adult audience, so we're less inclined to engage. So my videos don't get pushed up the algorithm. Just put a word that pisses you off in the comment.
Penis.
Okay, number 1 is Americans' view on company as family. Now, I know this is not usually the workers' attitude. It's usually like the company that employs you wants you to look at the company as your family.
That's cool.
Well, recently there was a survey in Europe of workers, and they asked, would you rather get company perks like access to gyms, free water? You should always get free water.
Yeah, you
Free,
should
like,
always get
soft
free water.
drinks and food and stuff. Or would you rather get better working conditions like hours, time off, paid maternity leave? And it is no surprise that
Time off.
Europeans opted for the latter.
Time off.
Honestly, I think Americans are kind of on the verge of change on this one in a lot of companies too. People are spending less time in the office, so I think this is one that the Americans are coming around to a more European way of thinking. And in a lot of European countries,
Yeah, because I've always heard that Americans are like workaholics. Like, you guys like to work. You don't really have too much time off and stuff. You don't really get too much time off. And yeah, just work. That's probably why you guys are the leading country.
Is definitely looked at as less important than time with your family and your friends. Look at Spain, for example. There is a siesta in the middle of the day. Americans are said to live to work, but I think with the recent changes in the last couple of years, Americans might be coming around to a more relaxed way of life also. I mean, if you can do some work from home, why not?
Let me know what you guys think about them. If you do them, don't do them, or if things are changing. Let me know that in the comments. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I'm live every single day on twitch.tv/L3WG. If you guys want to check me out over there, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.